that would be of interest to you. I don't. If you don't care, you don't care. But I mean, honestly, I know that in the first 10 days, obviously, I was very out of the loop, and I was perceived as someone who was, aloof and not talking game with anyone, and someone who would be easily expendable. I'm obviously aware of that. Then the following week, when Joe went up, I know that deals were offered to try and go after the floaters at that point, which is what I was being considered at that point. And I have an understanding of that scenario. Then he sat in the hot tub with me one day, and I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to cut my hair until I make it to sequester, because I don't know if I really want to have a mohawk in my day-to-day life. I think it'll be kind of silly. And he turned to me and he said, well, it's going to be close, man. I think there may be a couple people that could go before you, but you might want to wait it out. It'll be right on the borderline. I mean, how am I supposed to take that?
And I agree. If Nick did say that, I do agree, because, anyone would take it that way, but I can tell you for 100% fact that Nick wanted Kale and Jen out of here. Nick, one of the last things that he told me, he looked at me and he said, if I turn on the TV and Jen's HOH, I'm going to kill you. You're going to get HOH and you're going to get her out of here.
Then we probably made we made a mistake. And I thought we made, and this is one of the things that kills me about the way that this is being framed on me. And I understand. So, yes, I've argued every point, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it. I understand. I stood up here, and I was the one and only one with Jamaica, Amber, Dustin, all saying otherwise, who said, get rid of Kale the week that Mike was up.
No, and I know you did. And that was also another mistake that everybody made.
I know, but then it's being blamed that I'm the one who cast these votes or whatever. I'm the only one who I'm the one who stood up and put my neck on the line to say these things. And I've never been bashful about it. I've never tried to stay quiet in a meeting. I've never tried to pin it on someone else. I've stood up and said, I think we need to get Kale out. I think we need to get Nick out. Might it have been a mistake to get Nick out? Yes. But that's how I felt at the time. It's also how Amber felt. It's also how your dad felt. It's also how Jamaica, Jessica, and Dustin felt. Dustin put him up. Amber said, as much as it pains me to say it, I need to do it. And your dad, thinking that he was protecting you, said, he would feel more comfortable with it happening that way as well. If anyone denies that, they're an out-and-out liar. We were all in the room and said...
No, I know, and nobody has denied it.
Right.
Nobody has denied it.
So how is it now my fault that he left? How is it my fault that he left when there was a room of all of us saying those things and making that decision?
But I don't, honestly, my opinion is I don't think that reasons and... I don't think that the point of the whole thing was in this room. That's not... That has the least amount to do with it than a lot of other stuff.
What is bothering me is just the fact that, obviously, I know what I did and I didn't do. So, if I went down on my own accord, then so be it. And I said a million times in this house, I said there's going to be plenty of reasons for people to shout at me, and plenty of reasons for people to come after me. Unfortunately, these are not them. And it's disappointing to me that there's a strong chance I'm going to leave, and it's going to have tarnished my, character. Not that it'll tarnish it outside of here, but it'll tarnish it, moving forward. We'll get to sit and watch the live feeds for the next 2 months and watch myself be slaughtered every single day. People won't talk to me at the rap party. People won't look at me. And I would feel much more comfortable if, you had just come up and said, listen, we don't really like where we stand in the greater scheme of the group. We have the numbers now. It's a play that we need to make while we can make it. And
when are you talking about?
Well, I'm saying in general this week.
But I never Eric, I would never was guaranteed to have the numbers, and that's why I didn't tell everybody. When you and Amber and Kale and Zach or whoever were outside downstairs, that whole thing, honestly, that was the first time that I said anything to a lot of people about anything, because I didn't want people to know, because what if the power veto wasn't used? I didn't want people to know what I was thinking and where I was coming from. But yeah, people were getting suspicious and feelings, and there was, just weird situations all around, and people did start to know where I was coming from.
You do understand, though, that just like you've had conversations in this room with this group of people where they've expressed point of view A, you do understand I've been in conversations with them where they've expressed point of view B, right? You do understand this, right? That it's not like what you hear is like the gospel according to them, and that's the only thing that's been said or done around here this week.
Oh, believe me, and
I know. The last thing I'm going to do is bring anyone down with me. I wholeheartedly want, people I care about to be left in a good position and to be doing well in the event that I do leave. I guess the problem I have is I'm being framed for things I didn't do, which is fine. It's part of the game. I can't cry over spilled milk. But in the process, it's managed to tarnish who I am and who I've been to you and who I've been to Amber and Jamaica and Jessica and Dustin and even your father. And even to a certain extent, Kale and Jen. I've certainly not been the buddies with them that you guys are making it out like I am, but I've tried to at least be respectful towards them. They've been in a bad position for weeks on end. The one person I can say I've really not given the respect I should have is Zach, and I'm going to tell him that later, and I'm going to apologize to him for it. The problem I have is, we tease Mike about crying in a diaper and saying peekaboo. We tease Joe about having an alliance with the toaster and the microwave and the refrigerator. We tease Carol about making ridiculous comments. Nobody teases Nick at all. And when I leave, you guys are going to be saying despicable things about me, and despicable things that are not necessary and not true to what I've been or what I've done to you guys in this house. And I mean, you know who I am outside of the game. I'm not, well, you don't know who I am outside of the game, but I'm saying game issues aside. I would like to think, you were one of the first people to spend time with me and meet me. That's who I am. That's who I was then is who I am now. And can you imagine sitting there like that and having Amber, who I do care about and I've been loyal to and I've protected and I have stood up for, and I've had such great times with, speak to me and feel that way towards me? Can you even imagine? You haven't had that happen to you in this house. It's brutal. Your dad is the first person that I spent nights with, for 2 straight weeks, every single night, whooping it up, talking about anything and everything, talking about you, talking about the game, talking about life outside of here or whatever. He's been despicable to me this week. Really hurtful. And this is coming from people that I've never done anything to. And I've never been given the chance to defend myself. No one ever called me up here and said, all right, you have 5 minutes. Your life is on the line. Plead your case. Never given a chance.
But we didn't do that to Nick. We didn't do that to Joe. We didn't do that to
No,
Mike.
I understand that. And that's why I'm saying, from a gameplay standpoint, kudos to you. So if I go home, I go home. And you are correct. You would have taken out, probably, hard to say the best player. That's certainly if I go out to, 10th from the end. But someone who certainly is a capable person in this house. And I'd say kudos to you. But it doesn't need to be done by dragging my name through the mud and making me look like a piece of shit in the process.
And I do apologize that it's happening this way. Honestly, Eric, I personally, I'm not tearing you down. I'm not doing anything. I've told everybody. It's not personal. It's strategic. And I'm sorry that it happened this way. And I'm sorry that it happened this early and everything else. Eric, I like you. When we're at the rap party, I'm not going to ignore you. I'll talk to you. I don't care if I'm the only person who does talk to you. I will talk to you because I like you, and you know that I like you as a person. You know that we've had many laughs, and, we've had a lot of good times. You're definitely one person that, no matter what anybody says at this moment, that everybody's going to miss in the house.
I guess that's the reason I'm speaking to you right now, because I don't have a captive audience with these other people right now. They won't even look me in the eyes. They don't have the decency to speak to me. And I don't deserve it. And if I go home, I deserve to go home just as much as anybody else does. It's a game. There's one person who stands in the end. If I were you guys, I would come after me as well. I didn't realize it because the honest truth of the matter is, and I have no problem saying this, because if I stay, I have to play